Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having us on your virtual stage. We're so happy to be here. Some of you already know who we are, and we might be new to others, so let me first give you a quick overview of what we do. Croo specializes into unified communication. Our goal is to take all your communication needs and fuse them together in the same easy-to-use software. We're known in the insurance industry for Blue Butler integration, which integrates your phone with your BMS. But we have partnered up with all the major BMS software to develop an exciting new suite of direct integration. One of the key advantages of working with Croo is that our service is managed, meaning that we know the 600 businesses that use the service and we speak to them often. Today, we're able to harness all the industry knowledge that we have acquired through the years of working in close partnership with leading companies and bring it directly to you. Our goal is to provide meaningful insight into a customer's business, thereby shining a new light on the challenges that they are facing. So let us kick things off by telling you about the amazing thing we're doing right now with teleworking. As we all know, for many years, businesses have been using teleworking and have enjoyed its many advantages. They save on office space while offering more flexibilities to their employee and provide a very appealing benefit when it's time to recruit. This year, though, everything changed when teleworking went from an advantage to a necessity. As an immediate response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we created a special task force charged with assisting businesses during these times of emergency transition. They have been doing a fantastic job at doing just that. To tell you more about it, I would like to introduce Kevin Hood, a key member of the Teleworking Task Force. Kevin, to you.
Thank you, Dave, for the introduction. My colleagues and I, in a short period of time, were able to captivate most of the insurance industry in Canada. We're lucky enough to work closely and exclusively with insurance brokers, and I personally think that sharing our knowledge can definitely be helpful. Now, let's look at some facts. Teleworking is a new way of working, and not because of this new reality. What we're seeing is that it's extremely difficult to find new hires. In fact, in a recent survey of 3,000 professionals by LinkedIn, found that 82% of workers want to work from home at least 1 day per week, and 57% want to work from home at least 3 days per week. What it says is that it's a new reality. People not only want to work from home, but they're expecting this flexibility when they look for a job. And you need to have the environment and ready. Well, sorry for that. The environment ready for that. Now let's look at this in a real scenario. If you use a hard phone at the office, and once you work at home, use your personal smartphone, I'm pretty sure you're going to be disturbed by all the notification. Plus, you can easily switch back to Facebook and other social media. And let's not forget that a lot of us are working in PJs. Also, if throughout the week you work at home and at the office, carrying a hard phone is not practical. That's why we believe that getting used to a soft phone like Bria or a chat like Slack is crucial to the success of this new work environment. Also, you need to be paperless. That means having most of your docs on PDF files and cloud docs like Microsoft Azure or Google Drive, so it's easy to share with your colleagues. Other than that, you can implement the eFax so that every fax you send and receive is incorporated into an email. Overall, the goal is to be exactly equipped as you are in the office. If you use a different device from work, you won't be as productive because of the time it takes adapting to different tools and devices. Speaking of productivity, now I want to go into the human aspect of all this. First, some brokers that I have spoken with have experienced a decrease in productivity, although from a recent survey, the top struggle of remote workers is unplugging after work, followed by collaborating, communicating, and loneliness. So having a work-like office environment at home is crucial for fighting these struggles. Pre-schedule a video conference with your team members will also help in keeping the work spirit. Jumping in a Zoom meeting should be as easy as turning to my colleague as I do when I have a question when I'm at the office. Sending an email does the job, but it's not practical as using a platform for chatting, as I mentioned earlier. They are faster, you can have different group chats, you can send emoji, which is more fun than the casual email. And most of them are encrypted, and in some cases more secure than the email. Now I want to point out that all those tools, video communication, chat, a cloud phone system, are all extremely useful whether you're working at home or at the office. Think about it for a second. Let's look at a simple feature, the user status, who can be changed in most communication software. It's an easier way to know if a coworker is available. Normally, we will get up and look at their desk if they're out for lunch. Instead, from your own desk, the status will tell you if they can be disturbed. On top of that, most of these software have KPIs. All these indicators will communicate information that only this can give you. You can tell how many emails have been sent, calls activity, status time, valuable information you can use to improve efficiency. So there you have all the reasons to start now implementing these new systems. You have the opportunity to work from anywhere in the world without disrupting your obligation. Some changes need to be made, like working on the cloud, and most BMSs offer that option. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Kevin. It certainly looks like teleworking is here to stay, or at least some kind of hybrid between traditional office work and working from home. Last year, despite all the uncertainty and adversity, businesses were more resourceful than ever, and there was a real traction toward progress. So for the second part of our presentation, I would like to introduce Julian, who will be talking about the exciting new features that your BMS have in store for you this year. Julian, to you.
Thank you, Dave. And thank you, Kevin, for educating us on the impacts of working remotely. It seems like teleworking will be part of our new normal for some time now. I also want to take this time to thank everyone for joining us today during our presentation. It's greatly appreciated. Today, I'll be discussing different ways to take your broker management system or agency management system, as some of you would say, to the next level. Focusing on one specific growing industry here at Croo allows us to be well aware of the tools insurance brokers use on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. The main tool an insurance broker use is, of course, the broker management system. We learned over the last few years different types of systems, and we grew our knowledge of what each system does and which ones have the most tools to help optimize efficiency for insurance agencies. We are also very aware of how technically advanced some of these broker management systems are. You use your BMS or AMS for everything: schedule follow-ups, accounting, marketing, proposal information, etc. Everything is there for you to work and keep track of your customers. I even once heard of a BMS using automation to get an estimate of quotes from insurers without even contacting the insurer themselves. The point I'm trying to make here is the current systems agents are using now, most of them are up to par with technology. There are ways, of course, to take your BMS to the next level, and I will get to that during my presentation. But what I want to start off by is to talk to you about the old ways of working compared to some of the new ways. I'm sure a lot of people listening to me right now have been through vast changes in technology and had to adapt to the new ways of working. We realize that some of our current customers and potential new customers still have or had an old way of working. We speak to a lot of insurance agents around North America, and my colleagues and I have come across a lot of agents that still write notes about a call directly on a piece of paper. Well, the main question we ask is, what if you lose this paper? Where will you find the history of that call? The next question then gets brought up about call recording. Some agents don't have call recording, which is fine. Some people don't like to record calls, or in some states in the US don't allow it as part of the law. But how does one protect themselves against their E&O if a customer comes back and says, I never agreed to my policy renewal, or that new claim that was filed? As Kevin mentioned earlier, being paperless will help for an easier transition to be working more efficiently. Call recording is a big aspect to help with E&O protection. We know call recording isn't a deal-breaking feature, but it can help with taking your BMS to the next level. Call recording can help efficiency and keep track of all your calls at your agency. What we've come across with call recording is that some agents who actually do use this feature have a hard time retrieving phone calls or don't have the ability to store those calls in the customer activity inside of your broker management system. Another added value of call recording is if an agent gets let go or passes on a customer account to another agent, he or she can actually go into the recordings and see where they left off with this customer by listening to past calls to see exactly what was said. This can be done through a customer portal or directly into your broker management system if your provider has this feature. I can go on and on with what else I've come across, but those are the main points that I wanted to bring up. I know there's an old saying that states, don't fix a machine that is working, which is true, but how do you make a machine work longer or even faster? We're all aware of platforms that integrate with your broker management system, and I actually came across an article from the Canadian Underwriter that states integrated applications are possibly the most underrated elements in the broker technology platform. I'm sure you've all heard of Applied Systems, PowerBroker, Vertafore. Some of these platforms run on an older backend, but we're happy to announce that a lot of things are possible and are, of course, in our future roadmap. Being in the telecommunication industry, I want to inform you of the potential of a cloud phone system, which plays a big role in bringing your BMS on another level, and that involves having an all-in-one solution. How efficient would it be to be able to have a total unified communication platform integrated directly into your broker management system or agency management system? Having SMS, MMS, video conferencing, or even a marketplace for developers to add independent integrations. Being able to have a policy of your customer pop up directly into your phone system when you're receiving an incoming call, or also being able to write notes live while the call is taking place, and then having that whole activity get stored in the client's file into your broker management system. If many of you are used to doing online onboarding instead of face-to-face, you'll even be able to have built-in scripts to be able to have a series of questions to ask before onboarding the customer. Whether it's a brand new customer or an existing one, you can have any types of scripts to match these descriptions. When the wrap-up time is then done, the agent has finished writing his notes. That whole activity will then get stored into your broker management system. These are, of course, all features that we're currently discussing with many broker management system developers. What would also be amazing and efficient is being able to have artificial intelligence, known as AI, into your platform. How great would it be to receive a picture of a car accident from a customer and have it automatically submitting a claim into your broker management system? Let's imagine this. You're working throughout the day and you receive a picture from one of your customers who just got into a car accident. You'll be able to have set up an automated response saying, "Hi, so-and-so, I hope you're okay. Do not worry, we'll be here with you the whole length of the way. Let me give you a call in 30 minutes. Once the customer responds to that SMS, imagine being able to have the whole activity of that SMS stored directly into your broker management system and automatically filing a claim according to that picture. Or better yet, having an agent come into work in the morning and automatically having all their tasks to complete for the day, which will come from past activity generated from your broker management system. These features would revolutionize the way an insurance agent would work. Now, to summarize everything, the BMS is your core platform to use for all your insurance needs, but there's so much that you can do with it that will help optimize efficiency and, of course, take it to the next level. We will make sure to bring you the best integrations possible with all the core broker management systems, and we will make sure to take them to the next level in the nearby future. I'll thank you all for listening. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Julian. As you can see, all the BMS manufacturers have started cooking for you. So this year will be a year like no other. You can be sure to see a real productivity gain, not only from our integration, but also from the features that the BMS manufacturers are developing for you. We can't wait for all of it to be ready. Now, I would like to use some time to go over the public chat. We won't take much time right now because the QA will be done after our segment. But we have Carla and Dale that have posted about the teleworking segment, and I really find that interesting. That we have Carla that says that she feel more productive, but she feel that she's putting about 9 and 10 hours a day, and before that she was probably putting 8 like everyone else. We see that with working from home, it's becoming harder and harder to really differentiate when you are actually working and when you're not. And that's something that really commute was giving to people. Not only that, commute was also providing some alone time to people, because if you think about it, some people have big families, and the only time that they can really take to be alone was their commute time, and we are removing that to people actually. And we really think that teleworking will give more productivity to people, and that definitely help. It's just that the human aspect is not too. We shouldn't forget about the human aspect actually, and we need to find new ways to get people to have their alone time and also to interact with their colleagues and really bring the same vibe that you had in the office at home. And I think that in 2020 we did many things that really helped with that. If we remember the beginning in March, it was really hard for people to actually experience the same environment that they had in the office from home. But as we see the year progressing, people got used to it. Now they are doing more meeting than before, so they actually get to choose when they can spend time with their colleague. They are winning some productivity here and there because they're not disturbed anymore by their colleague in the office. They can have their time with their coworker, and just that allows them to switch from work to something more informal and speak with their colleague, which sometimes will change than just speaking to your kids that you may do all day. It just makes you interact with more people. And I think that's really a spirit that we found in 2020, is that you can really have more productivity when you work from home, and you're not losing everything that you have from the office. But of course, working from the office got its advantages, and working from home also got some advantages as well. Now I will go back to our segment, and I would like to use the last few minutes of our segment to talk about the telecom industry directly. I've been involved professionally within the telecom industry for nearly 9 years now, and way more before that as a customer. We've seen an ever growing number of carriers, all offering different services and features, and you may ask yourself, where are these carriers coming from? Over the last few decades, we've seen many connectivity wholesalers appearing on the market, and these wholesalers either have their own equipment or resell services from other companies. They are split within three tiers as follows. On the first tier, you have ILEC and CLEC. The ILEC are the companies that built the network initially. You can think of Bell, you can think of TELUS, Sasktel, Saskatchewan. These are the ILEC. And also you have CLECs, which are less known companies that are there to compete against them. They help to bring down the price for customers, and also they offer the connectivity from A to Z as an ILEC. Unlike a tier 2, which is basically a company that will resell from a tier 1, that being an ILEC or a CLEC, and tier 3, which basically resell from tier 2, excuse me. The worst case scenario, it might look like this. Your call will need to jump to at least 4 different phone companies before it reaches the PSTN. If any of these companies have an outage, then there's nothing your carrier can do to restore your incoming call service, unlike outgoing calls, which can be routed to any phone companies out there. It's also important to note that if you have a quality issue with your phone calls, all the carriers in this diagram will need to talk to each other within 2 days to solve the problem, because after that, the CLEC and ILEC will no longer have your logs. The solution looks simple. A carrier just needs to buy from a tier 1. Well, it's not as simple as that. These tier 1s have minimum commitment to keep away small carriers, and the reason they're keeping them away is because they don't have the staff to keep up with the demand. Buying from an ILEC and CLEC directly will also keep your carrier away from the volume discount that they might get by using a reseller. One more reason some carriers are not buying directly from a tier 1 is that they might have no interest into doing that. That mostly happens when you buy from an international carrier, because these carriers tend to have relation with their carriers in their own country, and they use them when it's time to buy international phone number. Seeing all of that, you may wonder, why not just go with an old-fashioned telecom company? They are the CLEC and ILEC after all, and you are skipping a possible point of failure. Well, it's not as simple as that. When you go with a more traditional phone company, you will lose the features that will give you more reliability down the line. We saw that nowadays, most outages tend to happen at the customer side, either through an internet loss or electrical outage. Buying from a cloud carrier will eliminate those risks. If you lose your power at the office or if you lose internet, your phone system will not be affected. You will still be able to call using the mobile app, and in the worst case scenario, your voicemail and automated assistant will still answer. Because you wouldn't be dealing with a tier 1, you also get an extra layer of redundancy. Your outgoing calls can be routed to any phone company in case of an outage, and also you get a better network because we don't buy from only one CLEC or ILEC, we buy from many of them. At Croo, we spent years developing relationships with CLEC and ILEC across Canada, USA, France, Italy, and Australia, getting the best possible coverage while also having the best reliability. And lastly, the most important point, you can now shop around. You're not limited to one or two companies that doesn't have the feature or service level you expect. We're not at a point where there's so many telecommunication companies out there that one of them is bound to be the best fit for you. Lastly, I would love to talk about unified communication. A couple of years ago, unified communication typically meant voicemail to email, call forwarding, and a mobile app if you're lucky. Well, that doesn't cut it anymore. A carrier needs to integrate with many platforms like CRM and BMS and really anything the customer uses to operate his daily business. This has been known in the industry for many years now, and many of the big names now offer some kind of integration into CRM. The problem in 2021 is that you can't rely on one software anymore. Many businesses tend to have different software, and having the whole picture in one of them is starting to get harder and harder. At Croo, we are seeing things differently. We think that unified communication is more than just listing your phone calls into your BMS or CRM. It's taking your messaging experience, your calls, and all your productivity tools and have them in the same place. As we speak, our developers are wrapping up a new software that will be released within the end of Q1 to some specific customers as an alpha version. I'm not saying that you'll be able to create an insurance policy directly from the phone, but you'll be able to see a quick overview of what's in your BMS, and from there you'll be able to pop right into their profile and save a tremendous amount of time. Of course, when the call ends, we will create a record in your BMS, CRM, or anything you're integrated with, and this record will also point back to the call. You'll be able to listen to it, see any notes that you may have taken, and anything that really happened during the call. It doesn't stop there. In our new software, we will not call this an integration. We will call it an app because each integration we are doing will get its own set of features and you can have as many apps as you need. We know that all businesses are different, and for this reason, we will also be opening a new marketplace that will let developers publish apps into your new software. We hope that this will encourage software companies to really integrate with your phone and offer more than just a call record and a contact. Just in case the software you want isn't there, we're also making our SDK and API free of charge so you can integrate with any software you want. If you don't have any developers on payroll, as most businesses, you can give us a call. We can either develop the official marketplace integration for you if there's enough demand, or put you in contact with some of our customers who develop applications like these. I hope you feel you learned a bit more about the telecommunication industry, the challenges that businesses are facing with teleworking, and the changes coming to your BMS this year. Remember, stay home, stay safe, and thank you again for your time today.
So actually, I had a question for the team here because I know you touched on a little bit with carriers kind of being one of the challenges for getting your technology in place at a brokerage. What is the biggest challenge and obstacle you see for yourself and that you see for the broker?
In terms of carrier, for ourselves, the challenges is very too different with every carrier because there are so many carriers out there that like you can't be just doing phone calls anymore. That doesn't work. Every business is different, and we need to have a solution that's very specific to some industry. That's why we are making partnership with the BMS manufacturers. It's because we need to be different than other carriers. We can't just do phone calls. That doesn't work. And also, for the broker, the biggest challenge is that, well, right now, I don't know the companies and ourselves that does that, but let's say that there's other out there. If you go with them, how do you know that they are buying from a tier one and they are not buying from a subpar wholesaler? You can't know in advance, and they won't tell you. So it's really a challenge, but it's also coming with more opportunity because you can test them before. You can make sure that the quality is there, and really, I think that more carrier the better because you're not really stuck with just one that you had before.
Actually, just to kind of counter at that point, is there anything that brokers can do to test or sample or kind of get involved with your product without jumping all the way in?
For our product, for most customer, we tend to offer some trials before. It's also depending on the size of the customer, of course. If you have one or two employees, then sometimes just going on a month-to-month plan on one of our cheapest plan will be the trial. But if you have a big brokerage, then we can provide some test extension here and there, and you're free to test it out for as many times as you need before. If you want to go with some competitors, most of them will offer you trials, and if they don't offer any trials, well, first of all, it's a red flag, but you can go with one extension on a month-to-month basis and see how it works. If they force you to sign a contract before doing any trial, now I would just say don't go there because they don't want you to test their product before.
Yeah, everyone hates a long-term contract, right?
Yeah.
So the one question that came into the chat is, what is your rollout plan for connecting with TAM? But I can almost guarantee, just working with brokers, they want to know kind of what is your integration plan and what is your first your BMS list that you're going to take on.
Yeah, we actually have a very big BMS list to integrate. We've been in contact with all of them. Some will roll faster than some. We hope that we'll get the big three by the end of the year. Some of the partnerships are still being negotiated, so I'm not even allowed to say their name. Yep. But let's just say that there are three big names in the industry, and we're trying to integrate with all of them by the end of the year. But we know that software like TAM, they tend to run on older platforms that are on-prem, and there's no rolling plan for TAMs. We are planning on doing some integration. Actually, we're not an Apply partner yet, but we have an integration with them for their Epic product already. So you can already test that out. Right now, even before new software is released, we have the kind of also integration that you get with other carrier where you only have your phone record in Applied, but we already have that within their Epic product. So you can already test it out, and on your cell phone will actually bring you a view of what's in Epic. But there's no plan for TAM because it's running on another platform that is on-prem. So, but I know that Apply can actually move you from TAM to Epic, and they tend to call customer very often to offer that. So if you are planning on moving to Epic at some point, we can definitely do some integration for you.
Yeah, and I think I feel your pain on that one a little bit, Dave. I know when we do websites and they don't work on IE11 or older technology, it's kind of like you have to kind of pick the forward.
Yeah.
You have to kind of see where things are going and build for that as opposed to build for the past. Some questions kind of specific to your product. Do you also track telephone starts, i.e. how many inbound and outbound calls are made in a day?
Yeah, we do call tracking. We have our own portal that we developed, which is in our Croo for Insurance solution. And in this portal, you can track per agent, you can track per call queue. If you're running any marketing campaigns as well, in the back end, we can also add a tag for a specific number that you have running on a marketing campaign and really see how many calls you're getting from that campaign to calculate the return on your investment. So definitely, it's very user friendly. And you can keep track of all the stats that you want directly from our portal. I think that also answers, I believe it's Sophie's question. Can you accommodate call queues? Yeah, of course we can accommodate call queues. Like Dave mentioned in his presentation, you can also have an automated response when someone calls in, call it an IVR, an auto attendant, where you call in and you can press 1, for home insurance, 2 for car insurance, 0 for reception. You can keep track of all those in our solution. So definitely, yeah.
It's actually very interesting to know that call queues, automated SSM, and all of that is included within the base price of every user. We don't charge for these features; they come with the product. So our lines, so our direct phone numbers, toll-free are not included because, of course, they are charged per minute like everywhere else. But we include all the features within our Croo for Insurance plan, and I think it's something that really differentiates us in the industry.
That's great. And I have a great question actually from Dell, kind of a bit of a different working model at their brokerage. We use our personal cell phones at home and we have work calls forwarded to those phones. Will your system then work with our personal phones for each employee? Like, will we be able to track the calls if we're set up in that way?
Actually, I can go ahead.
Yeah,
right now, if you can do a call forward like you're doing right now with our product, and we will still track the call. We will still record it into your BMS and AMS, any software that you're using. But the problem with doing that, and that's the same problem that you're already having right now, is that when it's time to call back the customer, they either have your phone number or they see unknown on their caller ID. And we know that with all the robocall happening right now, people don't tend to answer to unknown, and also these calls are not tracked. So the solution for us is really that on your mobile app, you will install our app, which is already provided for free to every of our customers. You just install that on your cell phone, and you'll be able to call with it. You'll be able to have your call recorded and tracked into your BMS or AMS. And basically, you get all the features that you get on a traditional fast line directly on your cell phone for free.
Oh, that's great. So it's kind of like a cell phone extension.
Exactly.
That.
And when
go for it, Dave.
And when the workday is over, you can actually go in our app and put it into do not disturb mode. So then you don't get any office call after hours.
That was actually one of my questions: is how do you turn that off in a world where we're constantly kind of at work? But it also dovetails into Scott's question. So we know landlines, cell phones, call forwarding. What about this new world of communication through Zoom, through online screen calls? Is that something that you're hoping to achieve in your system?
Yeah, we hope to be able to bring a communication platform like Zoom and the others directly within ours. And we know that basically in the slide that I presented, there was like meeting in one of them. We don't want to rush through that. We really want to spend 2021 focusing on T1 integration and marketplace. But we hope that we'll be able to bring forward a product like that. It's because we saw many on the market that right now are open source, only web-based, and we tend to see that there's so many platforms out there, and 3/4 of them are not really working well, we don't want to rush through that. When it's time to speak one-on-one, that's easy. But when you have a meeting with 15 or 50 people in it, it's starting to be really problematic. We see that Zoom work for that, but some other solution might not. And before we are rushing into anything, we want to make sure that it's actually going to work at scale.
No, that's great. I think the world of communications is changing probably more in the last couple of months than it has in the previous 4 or 5 years, right? So I did see one great question that came through here. So Sean, a great question is is your technology in place at any insurance companies now that you can discuss?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, have onboarded a lot of insurance companies, around North America in such a short period of time. I mean, obviously, we can go into details another time. If Sean wants to reach out to us, for sure, we can explain to him who we're working with. But just to say, I mean, a lot of companies are trusting us, not just, regular size, but also really big companies. We really make it an easy transition from your current system to, your new system with Croo. We have a nice human-to-human approach that some companies do not have. And to be honest, one of our current customers, Rick Drescher, actually wrote in the chat. He's been one of our first customers on the Croo for Insurance solution, and I think I speak for him and a lot of other companies as well, where they have nothing but great things to say about us. So definitely, we're working with a lot of companies at the moment.
I don't have the latest stats, but I think that about 40% of our users are insurance companies, and that's in terms of number of companies. I think that in terms of extension, we're closer to the 50 or 60% of our extension that are actually brokers. So we are involved a lot in the insurance industry.
Yeah, and actually, I know that's one of the reasons we got connected with the Croo Group is every time we talk to a broker, your name came up, and vice versa. So we had to make sure we get in touch with you guys and see what's going on in your world.
Sure.
I do just want to say thank you to the guys from Croo. This has been just a great presentation. Can everyone get in touch with you to learn more?
Of course, you can.
Go ahead, Dave. Go.
Okay. You can get in touch with us on our website at croo.io. It's croo.io.
It's in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Or you can call us at any time at 1-855-936-6326. We are there 24/7, so you can call us anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dave, Julian, and Kevin. This has been a great presentation. I recommend that everyone go and reach out to the guys at Croo. They are doing some amazing things and helping kind of push things forward for the broker. I always think that in the technology world, up against carriers, APIs, BMSs, big large groups, and Croo's taking on that fight for the broker, trying to push forward the communication platforms available. So thank you very much, Croo, and congratulations on your Economical Top Technology Award.